American women are better than women from third world countries. So I've dated women in Colombia, in Peru, and in the Philippines. Cebu, Philippines, Medellin, Colombia, Cali, Colombia, Barranquilla, Cartagena, Bogota, Manizales, and Lima, Peru. When I look back at all the women that I dated, the best women were almost all American women, straight across the board. American women. They were a pain in the ass. It was a pain to date American women. But these women are worse, especially here in the Philippines. You can't talk to them about anything unless it's about how they hate men. Filipinos very negative. They only talk about how they don't trust anyone, about how they hate everybody, how they hate you, about how you have to give them money. I got it all the time. In the Philippines, they want money on the first date. They think you're the sugar daddy. They'll call you the sugar daddy, and they want you to give them money and give money to their family. So it is, they're not like family oriented. Never heard a Filipino say, "Yeah, I want to have kids." In Colombia, I did. Here, no. I think the Peruvian women were the best. But the American women, easier to have a conversation with, did more interesting activities. Um, the good dates were way better than a good date overseas. They were intelligent in the US, they're not stupid. More, less late. Only 15 minutes late in the US. Over here, 45 minutes, 2 hours. In Colombia, it was always 45 minutes. Over here, they don't show up. Don't even show up. They could literally live next to the cafe where you're meeting and they just won't show up. And over here, they cancel 50% of the dates. In the US, they only cancel dates if they have some sort of fantasy that you crossed them. Like like if a woman says hello to you, then they cancel the date. And I'm like, you don't treat people like that. If someone says hello to me, that doesn't mean you cancel a date on me. You know what I mean? In the Philippines and in Colombia, they think it's cute to hit you. So you have to be with me. You have to be with me. That's the way they talk. You're with me, and it's like, hey, lady, she smiles. She says hello to me. I didn't fucking tell her to say hello to me. You know, get out of your dream world. In the Philippines, it's worse. In the Philippines, they'll slash your tires and break your windows. They'll get the whole family after you. I've heard so many stories. So there was a story with the guy with the 700,000 euros. His girlfriend stole the money, and she and the family just left town. They stole 700,000 euros. Filipinos are extremely dishonest. Filipinos in general are dishonest. You cannot trust them with money. I know there's chance that someone in the Philippines, "Oh, you shouldn't be in this country." They always say stuff like that. And it's like, you know what? If I have to leave the country, I'm going to leave the country. But you don't leave a country because you have a complaint. The reason why I haven't hurried to leave is because I know if I go somewhere else, it's going to be the same stuff. I hear the same thing in Thailand. In Thailand, they say they're all prostitutes. I know if I go to Vietnam, it's going to be the same stuff. The good days of dating are over. The women seem to be all about the money and the man hating, and it's ubiquitous. Here in the town I live in, the women are a little bit nicer, and I had to search around a bit. It took me a while, but I found a lot of places where the women are friendly, but they're friendly because their boss trained them to be friendly. Usually, the franchises, like the foreign franchises, they train the women, or I'm sorry, the staff to be friendlier and to do their job. They still don't do a good job, but at least they'll say hello and goodbye and things like that. So I'm avoiding all the places where they're just outright rude. But the place I went to today, the pizza's so good, I have to put up with their nonsense. And to get back at them, I go in, they all have uniforms on, and I say, "Are there any waitresses that work here?" And he said, "I'm a waitress." "Oh, you're a waitress." "Oh, I didn't know." Because they don't take your order. I have to go up to the cashier to place my order and I have to go up to the cashier to pay. The waitress only brings your food and they don't say anything. They just drop it in front of you and then they walk away. That's their job. So as I was saying, American women were better. And oh, here's another tip. I learned this today. You don't want to give up on a woman because of a social faux pas. I'm going to give you an example. My ex-girlfriend, Catherine, was always saying I was embarrassing her because I joke around with waiters. And she thinks I'm saying something that embarrasses her. I don't know what the hell she's talking about. But if you're with a waiter and you make a joke about the food, she's crazy to think that something embarrassing has happened. But that's what she always was saying. I don't know what her nonsense was. And she would say, I'm embarrassed because you said this. And I was like, she was a crazy person, you know? Social faux pas. I'll give you an example. Wearing clothes that are too old, clothes that have holes, not doing your hair properly, wearing old socks or not doing makeup, saying something stupid, going on a date saying, I have to go home, it's an emergency. We've chatted for an hour, we can talk again some other time, but I got to go home. I got something I have to do. I can't stay any longer today. Maybe I was there for 2 hours, and when I got home, she called on the phone, and I answered the phone. It was her, and I was like, I can't talk to you right now. I got something I got to do. It's really important. I got to do it right now. And then I never saw her again. That's a social faux pas. She should not have called me 15 minutes after I left the date, especially after I told her I can't talk to her. I have to go work on something. This was to build the cabinet. It's a long story. But you want to forgive people for those things. Those are the better people. If you don't forgive people for the social faux pas, you're just going to never meet anybody. The women that shop at the thrift shops. I met more than one woman who told me that, oh, I shop at the Salvation Army. And I was like, yeah, that's why your clothes look horrible. But, looking back, I was like, those women were not bad women. Those were women, I could have bought her a new dress and solved that problem. Another example of a social faux pas, I bought my girlfriend dinner 3 or 4 times. So she says she's going to make dinner for me. Of course, her making me dinner is equal to like me buying her dinner 3 or 4 times, according to her. I don't agree. So she makes me dinner. I say, thanks for dinner. I'm at her house. I go home. The next day, I call her on the phone before noon, before 1. You don't want to wait till the end of the day. They say, hey, her name was Kathleen, said, hey, I just wanted to thank you for dinner last night. She said, you didn't thank me. I was like, I just thanked you right now. Yeah, but you didn't thank me last night. It's like, I did. I said, thanks for dinner. Thanks is not thank you. That's an example of a social faux pas. She thought that me saying thanks wasn't a thank you. Even though, like I said, I called her again, said thank you, before she contacted me by email or by phone, just to nail it in. And she rejected both of my thank yous. She thinks I'm doing a social faux pas. I think she's crazy. She was crazy. Or another one was a guy didn't want to date a woman because her hair was too short. It's like, that's crazy. So if I had to do it over again, all the women, like the one that yelled at me because she didn't like the way I kissed her. This is a woman that for 7 dates didn't talk to me. It's like, you want me to give you a passionate kiss, then do something more than sit there silently. It's a social faux pas was that she snapped at me. She got angry. It wasn't that angry, but she scared me off. I was like, this woman doesn't talk to me and she yells at me for not kissing her. She never kisses me. I know I did kiss her. We were in the car too. Okay, time's up. So don't break up with women because of social faux pas. And if you think you're going to find a better woman overseas, not going to be easy.